Welcome to the Plant Disease Management Handbook for the Pacific Northwest. Now, in our last video, we talked about how you can find various hosts and diseases. In this particular one, a lot of people may not be aware, if you don't have the physical book, there are many other sections that you can get a hold of that are in the front or back of the book. For example, here's the cultivar susceptibility tables of many different crops that we grow here in the Pacific Northwest. Let's go to this apple one just to see what we have there. For example, if somebody has planted their favorite gala tree, they might be disappointed here in Western Oregon because it's very susceptible to apple scab and fire blight. However, if you kind of scroll down here a little bit, you'll find Liberty, much more resistant, highly resistant to apple scab and resistant to fire blight and powdery mildew. The explanation of those numbers is down here at the bottom. It's very typical of many of these tables that we have here in the Pacific Northwest Plant Disease Management Handbook. We have other things too. Here's diagnosis and testing. In this particular section, you can get a description, a general description on disease diagnosis and control. If you're interested in testing services like the OSU Plant Clinic or those that are up in WSU, you can get information about those and their fees here in this particular area. Then we have the pathogen articles. Now these are split into two different spots. We have the non-pathogenic phenomena as well as the pathogens that are common to many plants. I'm going to start there. For example, here's Oregon's most unwanted. These are plant diseases that we don't have in Oregon. We have quarantines on those, and you can get information about that here. There's a nematode section. Oomycetes, these are primarily articles on Phytophthora. Here's one on fungi. We have lots of fungal diseases like powdery mildew. Here's one on powdery mildew. You can get information on powdery mildew diseases, a general one describing how to their biology and their control. We have information on damping off, mycotoxins, armillary root rot one. Here's a good one on verticillium wilt of Pacific Northwest. A long discussion that gets into the lots of details with that. Now you can get to these articles through these drop-down menus. Here we were on fungi. Now we can jump over to, for example, bacteria. We have articles on Pseudomonas syringae, crown gall, and cyanobacteria. Let's see, what else can we find here? Pathogens, common viruses. Oh, here's one on parasitic plants. Lots of different parasitic plants in the Pacific Northwest. Good article here on all those particular things. Then we go back to here. We have the non-pathogenic phenomena. What we're talking about here, for example, is let's take thatch in home lawns for an example. Thatch is just the buildup of that plant debris here below the turf. It's not pathogenic, so we can't really call it a pathogen, but it is a common problem that people have questions about all the time. Moss, algae and mosses are another one we constantly have questions about, especially for like these crustose lichens that we get on trees. People are wondering about those. There's our articles about those. Winter injury, sapsucker damage. We do get woodpeckers and they cause all these holes in there that people get concerned about. An article on that. Nutritional diagnosis and keys to those on various crops, fluorine, air pollution, a problem here in the Pacific Northwest of late. For all of these, if you click on the images, of course you get a much larger image that you can take a look at there. We can put that down. And those are our pathogen articles. Pesticide articles then, there's a number of those. Fungicide theory, use and mode of action. Lots of different things here. Big tables if you want to download some of these. Here's one on fungicide and pollen interactions. Horticultural spray oils. So if people are spraying oils and they want to know about their use, things they control, you can get that here. Here's one for fungicides and disease management in the home landscape. It goes through not a lot of pictures here, but it does go through the various types of materials that are available in, say, the big box stores, and you can get information on those here. Lots of different things here. Here's one on wound paint tree wound paints and why we don't recommend them. You can get information there on those. Resources, we have a glossary that you can find out if you're unfamiliar with some of the terms that are there, like floidy. You can get that information through the glossary. Some reference tables, and then finally there's a big article here on use of disinfectants to control plant pathogens. Well, anyway, that's some of those other articles that we have in the Plant Disease Management Handbook. Hope you can find the information that you want to control your plant problems. Thanks for your time and have a good day.